Donald Trump's Department of Justice just took another major hit in its handling of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. And this time, it's not just political pundits calling them out. A federal judge in New York just blasted the DOJ's latest move, calling it an illusion of transparency in one of the most high-profile sex trafficking cases of our time. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happened in court, why the judge is so furious, and what this means for the Trump administration's already crumbling credibility when it comes to Epstein. Yesterday, August 11th, U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer issued a ruling rejecting the Trump DOJ's request to unseal grand jury transcripts from the case against Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate. Now, on paper, this sounds like transparency, right? Let's release the transcripts so the public can see the truth. But here's the kicker. Judge Engelmeyer said these documents contain next to nothing new. He emphasized that the material only identifies Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, nobody else. No new names, no bombshell revelations, nothing the public hasn't already seen in open court. So why is the DOJ pushing so hard to release worthless transcripts? According to Engelmeyer, this move gives the illusion of transparency without providing real transparency. That's legal speak for. This looks like you're being open, but in reality, you're just wasting time and possibly distracting from bigger issues. Judge Engelmeyer didn't mince words. In his written opinion, he basically accused the DOJ of posturing, trying to look like they're fighting for accountability while actually avoiding the hard questions about who else was involved in Epstein's network. He pointed out that if the DOJ really wanted transparency, they wouldn't be cherry-picking meaningless grand jury snippets. They'd be pursuing a broader release of documents and testimony that could actually answer lingering questions.
Absolutely dogging Donald Trump, reporters are pressing him about that ruling. It happened during his press conference at the White House.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Madam Attorney General, did the Justice Department appeal the Epstein decision today, Mr. President?
Did you hear that? Yeah, I didn't hear an answer either. Today's ruling concerned the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury material from probes into Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. For weeks, legal experts have said this is a red herring, arguing most of the information is already known and likely to shed very little light on the situation. Today, the federal judge, who has seen the material, echoing those criticisms and going even further, calling out and rebuking the Trump DOJ. Quote, the DOJ's entire premise that the Maxwell grand jury materials would bring to light meaningful new information about Epstein and Maxwell's crimes or the government's investigation into them is demonstrably false. Adding, quote, a member of the public appreciating that the Maxwell grand jury materials do not contribute anything to public knowledge might conclude that the government's motion for their unsealing was aimed not at transparency, but at diversion. And not at the full disclosure, but the illusion of such. It's unclear whether the DOJ will appeal as time goes by. This is certainly getting weirder.
Remember, this comes on the heels of a July decision in Florida, where another judge denied the DOJ's push to unseal grand jury records from earlier Epstein probes. That judge also concluded the documents weren't as revealing as they were being made out to be. 2 judges in 2 months, both saying the DOJ is overselling what's in these files. That's not a good look. For Trump's DOJ, the optics are terrible. This is an administration that has faced long-standing criticism for how it handled the Epstein case, especially given the fact that some of Epstein's social and political connections overlap with Trump's world. Critics, including some Epstein victims, are saying this latest maneuver feels like a cover-up tactic. They argue the DOJ is deliberately trying to distract the public with something that appears transparent but changes nothing. It's important to note, Epstein's network allegedly spanned across politics, entertainment, finance, and it's not a partisan issue. There have been connections to both Democrats and Republicans. But in this moment, the Trump DOJ is the one in the hot seat because they're in control of these prosecutorial decisions. And now, with a federal judge accusing them of providing fake transparency, it plays directly into the narrative that they're more interested in protecting powerful people than in revealing the truth.
Here we go.
Sir.
Abby
Yes,
Lowell,
sir.
prominent attorney now, was hired by Letitia James over the weekend. He said this on Saturday.
I don't think there's been an attorney general that has been willing to carry out the president's wrongdoing as much as Pam Bondi has since, I'd say John Mitchell with President Nixon. So this was something he announced, and it's happening as per the game plan he announced.
Okay, so we understand the positions on each side. You understand what a grand jury can and can't do. How do you see it?
Grand jury can do everything you wish a congressional committee could do. They can go get your phone records, your emails, your texts. They can offer immunity to people. I just find it so ironic that Abby is talking about his client being targeted. Bill, she literally ran for office on the promise of targeting Donald Trump. So, look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let's see if she was dumb enough to put emails in there, hey, let's go after him for this, for undervaluing property, even though no one suffered a loss. So grand juries are incredibly powerful. And as you just reported in your previous story, everything there is secret, Bill. I mean, you don't find out unless a judge unseals it.
Victims of Epstein's abuse have been vocal in the past week, warning that this illusion of transparency is yet another example of the justice system failing survivors. One survivor told Politico last week that releasing meaningless transcripts smacks of a cover-up, a way to close the book without ever really reading the full story. These women have fought for years to get the full truth into the public record. And now, when the DOJ claims they're moving toward openness, the actual documents turn out to be nearly empty. You can imagine how that feels for someone who has spent decades demanding accountability. The Epstein case has always been about more than just two individuals. It's about systemic failure, about how the rich and powerful can manipulate the justice system, hide behind sealed records, and walk away from crimes that would destroy the lives of anyone without wealth or connections. The fact that we're here in 2025, still talking about sealed records, still hearing about no new names, is a sign of how deeply entrenched this protection is. Judge Engelmeyer's ruling may not bring us closer to the full truth, but it does something important. It calls out the government for pretending to give us answers when they're really just giving us scraps. If there's one thing this ruling proves, is that transparency is only real when it's complete. Half-truths, cherry-picked documents, and political spin don't get us closer to justice. They just delay it. And every day the truth stays buried is another day survivors are denied the closure they deserve. The Epstein case isn't just about the past, it's about how much power the elite still hold over our legal system today.
A Democrat whistleblower repeatedly was warning the FBI beginning in 2017 that the congenital liar Adam Schiff had authorized leaking classified information to smear President Trump, which, by the way, could be a violation of the Espionage Act. Here with more on this breaking report, the editor-in-chief, founder, chief investigative reporter, justthenews.com, John Solomon. This is a big story, and this is a Democratic whistleblower, and there might be other Democrats implicated as well, like Kinzinger.
One of the guys that's in here is Eric Swalwell. Now, that is secondhand information from the whistleblower, but the whistleblower actually attended a meeting with Adam Schiff when he was ranking member. I
stand corrected. It was they both hate Trump, so I kind of mix them up.
They all merge together these days. Listen, this whistleblower literally sat in a meeting, he tells the FBI, where Adam Schiff authorized the leaking of classified secrets to dirty up Donald Trump and to try to build towards either a select committee in Congress or a special prosecutor. This whistleblower was a career intelligence officer. He had worked for the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat staff for a dozen years when he came forward to the FBI. He gave 4 interviews. He gave very specific information to the FBI, and nothing happened. Why? Because the Justice Department simply decided to take a pass. How many times have we sat around in the last decade and heard, we're going to get to the bottom of that classified leak, and then a few months later, we couldn't get to the bottom of that classified leak. In the case of Adam Schiff, they got to the bottom.
According to fresh reports, a Democratic whistleblower has stepped forward to the FBI with a stunning allegation. Senator Adam Schiff, yes, one of the most high-profile Democrats in Washington, allegedly approved an illegal plan to leak classified information for the specific purpose of targeting Donald Trump. The whistleblower claims this wasn't just some loose talk behind closed doors. This was an intentional, coordinated move. Staffers were allegedly told this classified leak could be used to indict Trump. And according to the whistleblower, Schiff reassured them they wouldn't be caught. In their own words, the whistleblower described the plan as treasonous and illegal. At this stage, these are allegations, not proven facts. We don't yet know if the FBI will move forward with charges or even open a formal investigation. But the fact that this is coming from a whistleblower inside Schiff's own party makes it impossible to ignore. If this turns out to be true, we're talking about one of the highest-ranking Democrats in Congress using classified intelligence as a political weapon. That would make this not just another partisan fight, it would be a direct abuse of the very systems meant to protect our democracy. And politically, This is dynamite. Schiff has been one of Trump's loudest and most consistent critics for years, from the Russia investigation to impeachment to his role on the January 6th committee. If evidence surfaces that he crossed legal lines to go after Trump, it will shake Washington to its core and fuel Trump's claims of political persecution. We don't have all the answers yet, but here's the bottom line. Two major scandals are now unfolding at the same time. One about a justice system accused of protecting the powerful in the Epstein case, and another about a powerful Democrat accused of weaponizing classified information against a political opponent. If both of these stories develop the way they could, the rest of 2025 might make the last few election years look like child's play,